Daniel calculated and saw only 7 days left. If he couldn't pay his shop's rent in 7 days, the owner would take the keys. And the money he was owed was still sitting in an old friend's pocket. Daniel had a small electronics shop in a corner of the city, not very flashy, but built with his own hands. And his oldest friend was Victor, someone he grew up with in the same neighborhood, went through school together. 8 months ago, Victor came one morning, his face dark, and said he urgently needed money for his mother's medical treatment. Daniel didn't think twice. He took out a large portion of his shop's savings and handed it to Victor via bank transfer without any paperwork, relying solely on friendship. Daniel didn't just want the money back. He didn't want anyone to ever think he was someone who could be fooled so easily. But today, 8 months later, Victor's phone rings but goes unanswered. The first month, Daniel didn't say anything. The second month, he gently reminded him with a smile. Victor had said, "Brother, I'll give it back, just give me a little time." The third month, Daniel asked with a bit more force. Victor then said his business had supposedly taken a hit. The fourth month, Daniel noticed Victor wasn't answering his calls, but was posting pictures of buying a new phone on Facebook. 5 months, 6 months, 7 months passed. Every excuse was becoming weaker than the previous one. And now, with the deadline for the shop's rent looming over his head, Daniel realized some people in the neighborhood were whispering behind his back. Daniel is apparently making a fuss with Victor about money. The guy has no peace, even with a friend. The narrative was flipping. The person who had helped was now being portrayed as greedy. Daniel sat down one night and thought, if he argued directly, the money might go even further away and the friendship would end forever. If he showed anger, Victor might withdraw further and try to prove himself the victim. He needed a way where the truth would come out on its own and Victor would say it with his own mouth. First, Daniel dug up the old message thread on his phone. It was clearly written there, the message sent by Victor's own hands, "Brother, please send the money for mother's treatment," and below that, the bank transfer receipt. Then Daniel looked for an opportunity. There was an engagement party of the son of a familiar shopkeeper in the neighborhood that weekend, where Victor would also be present, along with many of their common friends and acquaintances. Daniel didn't plan to show any anger. He just decided, while talking normally there, he would ask a simple question. On the evening of the event, soft lights, a crowd of people, laughter, Daniel went up to Victor and exchanged greetings in a normal voice, as if nothing had happened. A little later, while a few common friends were around, Daniel smiled lightly and asked, "Victor, how is Auntie now? Did that medical treatment go well?" The question sounded simple, but the color of Victor's face changed in an instant. He stuttered a bit, then hurriedly said, Yes, she's fine. The treatment is done." Daniel nodded and said in a calm voice, "Glad to hear that. Well, you never even mentioned the money I sent you. I thought maybe you had forgotten." 1 or 2 friends nearby looked over with curious eyes.
Victor tried to smile, but his voice trembled a bit. He said, "Hey, brother, why are you bringing this up here? Is today the day for this?" Daniel said calmly, No, I'm not making a fuss. I just asked because you yourself said you would give it back within a couple of months. Today, it's been almost 8 months." A few friends looked at each other. One asked softly, "Victor, didn't you say Daniel was just coming after you for no reason?" It was as if the room's spotlight suddenly turned towards Victor. His hands started to sweat slightly. He shifted uncomfortably in his chair and averted his eyes. Feigning a bit of anger, Victor said, "I never borrowed any money. He's lying." The room went quiet for a moment. doubt in some eyes, discomfort in others. It seemed as if Daniel might be the one proven wrong, getting humiliated in front of everyone. Daniel's heart skipped a beat for a moment. If the story flipped now in front of so many people, he would become the liar. But Daniel didn't get angry, didn't shout, he just slowly took his phone out of his pocket. "Okay," Daniel said in a calm voice, "then what is this?" He held the screen of the phone in front of everyone, showing the old message thread and the bank transfer receipt. The message, written by Victor's own hands. The date, the time, everything was clear. A moment of silence descended on the room. Victor's face turned pale. He gulped, tried to say something, but no words came out. Fine lines of sweat became clearly visible on his forehead. The friends nearby looked at each other, then at Victor. One of them said softly, "Victor, it's clearly written here." Victor lowered his head. No one said anything for a few seconds. Then he softly said, I wasn't actually forgetting, brother. I was too ashamed to say that I don't have the money in hand." Daniel still didn't show any anger. He just said, "I am not getting angry, Victor. I just wanted to know what the truth was. You could have just said it directly." In that moment, the atmosphere of the room changed completely. Victor, who was trying to prove himself innocent just a few minutes ago, now admitted in front of everyone that he had indeed taken the money and hadn't returned it yet. 2 days later, Victor came to Daniel's shop on his own. He didn't avoid talking directly. Instead, he sat down, apologized, and made a clear plan to return the entire money, even if in installments. Daniel was able to pay the shop's rent on time. And that night, as he was closing the shop, he remembered, exactly like this, 8 months ago, he had trusted Victor and sent the money without any questions. Today, he understood. Keeping faith is not wrong, but along with faith, one should always keep a proof too, because even good people sometimes forget, and weak people sometimes lie. In both cases, only one thing brings the truth forward. Remember, promises vanish in the air, but proof speaks.